Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle. Today I'm playing with some paper artsy goodies. So I received a couple of things in the, well, not in the mail, via courier, but there were 3 face stamps and the new texture, or I guess mark making stamp set from Paper Artsy, and I really wanted to give it a go. So I grabbed out this journal that I've got here, and first I glued 2 pages together because they're not very thick paper, but I have it, so I will use it. And then I also got a couple of paints from Paper Artsy. It's the chalk paint, so it's called Fresco chalk finish, and they range in different opacities. So I wanted to give them a try. I did see Nave Bailey a couple of years ago, actually. She used the same paints and she used coloring pencils over the top to do her shading. So I've been wanting to give it a go for a couple of years, but obviously getting these paints here in South Africa is a little bit harder than it is in other countries. But alas, here we are finally. So I started off with this girl. I stamped her directly onto the paper. These stamps have codes. They don't have names. And I'm sorry, I don't know the code for this one. But it is a Paper Artsy stamp. It's really lovely. She comes with like earrings and all sorts. So I stamped her onto my paper with archival ink, and I drew in a little top. I think I extended her neck slightly and drew in a little top. And then I started putting paint down, but then I realized I hadn't done her hair yet. So I quickly dried the paint that I had there, and I'm just going to draw in some wavy lines for hair. As per usual, the hair is going off the page. And the reason I do that is because I actually don't know how to draw the ends of hair very well. So that is my little cheat. If you don't know how to draw the ends of hair very well, just make it go off the page. Okay, so I've gone in with a yellow and a pink and now a green. I'm going in with a little bit of turquoise. At the end of this page, I've used all 8 colors that I got because I really wanted to try them out and see what they look like. This is the way that I normally would, I guess, swatch my paints, is I just go directly onto a page and I just make a page. I don't do swatch marks and write out the colors and all that. I just go for it. Okay, so did dry it a little bit, and then I thought I needed a little bit more pink because I had that big blob of pink, but obviously the hair is going to cover it. And now I'm just going in with my paintbrush, and I'm just smushing down some paint colors with the tip of my brush to try and blend the edges of where the paint colors meet. And it also creates a really lovely, like, blurry background effect. I really like when I just layer and layer these marks over the top of each other. I think it works really well. It's really effective. Now, when I ordered these paints, I just took what I could get. My supplier didn't have all that many colors. Again, it's really hard to get these paints here in South Africa. So I grabbed what I could, but they're not as vibrant as I would have loved them to be. Hopefully they'll get another shipment soon, and then I can get a couple more bright colors. Like that green, I didn't really love the green. I would have liked a brighter green. But anyway, I will make it work. I'll do what I have with what I've got. So for some added background interest, I'm using the little shapes that I'm assuming are her earrings, and I'm not giving her earrings. I'm using those stamps with some colored inks, and I'm using that as background stamps. So oftentimes my girls in my journals are, I guess, an extension of me or a reflection of me. And I don't wear earrings. I actually have an allergy to anything that goes in my ears. I've tried all the metals and I can't wear earrings. So it doesn't bother me at all. I'm not a jewelry person. I only ever wear my watch. You'll see I don't even wear a ring. So the fact that I can't wear earrings really doesn't bother me. And normally my girls in my journals also don't have earrings. Okay, I'm going in with this beautiful blue. I love this blue color. I must say, out of the lot that I got, this is my favorite one. I think it's called Shutters, maybe. It's a really nice, bright, vibrant blue. And my girl has blue hair. Unlike me, I do not have blue hair. So I'm giving that first layer a quick dry. And now I'm going to go in with this color. And this color is called Nougat. So it's a little bit of an off-white, almost peachy color. And that is going to be the base for her skin. And I'm just doing a really thin layer over the top of all the skin parts of her face, just to get that color down. And you'll see when I color in how it's just magic. I really, really love the way that the pencils sat over the top of the paint. Her little blouse or dress, whatever she's wearing, is going to be turquoise. I think this is called, maybe it's called Mermaid, but maybe not. I'm not sure. It's also quite a nice color. And you'll see that I do make sure that I dry off that paint really, really well. They do dry quite quickly, so it didn't need much of a dry, but I did want to make sure that it's bone dry before I go in with my coloring pencils. So I'm going in with all different kinds of purples and moving into pinks. So I started with a darker purple, then I went lighter and lighter until I reached the pinks. Clearly my shading needs a lot of practice, but because she looked a little bit off to me, but you know, it is what it is. I went with it. For me, art journaling is just about practicing and playing and really having fun. I try not to be perfect about it. There's no point, really. It's just paper and paint. And the minute you start putting too much pressure on yourself to make things perfect, I find that that's where we lose the joy of creating. So I'm segmenting her hair a touch, and I know that I'm going to go into all of those segments and darken them up. So I'm darkening the edges where I would think the shadowy bits would be. And then in the centers, I will do a brighter blue. So I'm going in with a darker blue. I think I may have used 2 or 3 different shades of blue here. I loved the way that the color pencils went over the top of this paint. This journal has got really horrible cheap paper. It's not a watercolor paper. It's actually a sketching journal. But even on that, it worked really, really well. So I am impressed. I think if I had to use it on a really nice journal page or nice paper like Marlene's journals, it would look magnificent. It would feel even better. So I'm glad that I got these paints finally and I got to play with them a bit. If you can get your hands on them, I would highly recommend them because they are a joy to play with. Okay, when I'm ready with all the shading and happy with that, I'm now going in and I'm going to draw in all of the little details that got covered up. I'm just using my Life of Color pen. And I'm going in and doing the eyelashes. I normally struggle with doing eyelashes, the top ones, if my book is upright. So I like to turn it around and it just gives me a better shape for those lashes. And I'm going around all the edges of her face. I forgot to do her lips, so that's getting a red. This red is quite a translucent one. The great thing about these paper artsy paints is that they have a little label on them, on each little bottle, and it tells you if it's translucent or if it's opaque, which is quite handy to know. But the lip was fine. It didn't have to be any more opaque than what it is. Now a couple of white highlights. And because I struggled a bit with the look of my dodgy shading, I decided to do quite a bit of white highlighting with my pen, especially on the forehead. So I just put a whole lot of it down over the top of the shading that I had there and just smushed it out with my finger, and I thought that looked a little bit better. And now I'm going in with a thinner pen and I'm just doing some fine hair around her head and around her face, and that looked cute. So of course the top was very pale or bland to me, so I'm going in with another little stamp that's in that same stamp set. It looks almost like an animal print. I'm not entirely sure what it's meant for, but I used it on her top, and then also just doing a little bit of shading on the top, and you'll see how that just looks much more, I guess, finished when it has that shading over the top. So to separate my pages, because the left page I haven't done yet, and I wanted to make sure that they are definitely separated, I'm going in with a black and white stripe all around the edges. So I went in with some black gesso, and I just used the width of my brush, and to do the white stripe I'm using my Amsterdam acrylic. This is the whitest acrylic paint that I've been able to find. I really love how opaque it is, so definitely my preferred white paint. Well worth the investment. If you buy a tube of that, it actually works much cheaper than buying smaller tubes, so I'm quite happy with that. Giving all of that a quick little dry, and then the quote that comes in this little stamp set says, "Eccentric is the new black," and I really like that, so I went with just a simple stamp. And I also wrote there, "Be yourself," and I'm just thickening up some of those letters. I think I tried going in with a white highlight, but I decided that it wasn't really worth the effort, so I stopped. You couldn't really see the difference, so I stopped. Quick little doodly scribbly border all around the edges, and that's about it for this page. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. If you have used the paper artsy paints before, let me know what you think about them. I think they are just fabulous, as you can hear. I do wish that I had brighter colors, but I'm sure I'll get there soon. One last detail that I did is I just wanted to add a little bit more whiteness to the page. So I just took the end of a pen and dipped it into some paint and smushed that on. And I think I did some black splatters as well. Yeah, I had some black paint left, black gesso left. So I just watered it down, splattered it over the top, and that felt a little bit more finished to me. All right, thanks for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I love hearing from you, and I will chat to you again soon. Okay, bye.